Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys, me and Doom are back for another wonderful episode of the GRcade Twitchcast. This is episode 17. It's going to be titled something that I think of later after the stream.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
That's what you should call it.
Something I think of later after the stream. It's a bit long.
Yeah.
Basically, this week we are going to be talking about the state of play and the Inside Xbox streams. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Rob versus Tim, aka Robocop versus Terminator.
Yep.
And yeah, is there anything else you can think of doing?
Not unless, to be honest, we go off on so many tangents that something might just pop up. So nothing planned, but I'm sure that won't stop us from finding something.
Yeah. Exactly. Obviously, we haven't been haven't had any questions from outside of the streams because I think we need to make it clear that we're doing that, like via Twitter and other things. Because a lot of people, like when we mentioned this right at the end, that some people may not actually pay that much attention. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. Sitolats.
What's that an acronym of?
Something I think of after
something I think of after the stream, or later after the something I think of later after the stream.
Yeah. Sitolats. Sounds cool, or Sitolats.
Sitolats.
Yeah.
Sounds like a poke.
Doom have cut out. Did something about a Pokemon, and then he vanished.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you now hear me?
I can. Sitolats sounds like a Pokemon, you're saying.
It sounds like a Pokemon. That's all I said. This voice chat Discord either works perfectly or it hates you. It's got two settings.
Two settings. Shit or good.
Yes.
Right, so we decided to start with state of play because you feel you have less to say about state of play due to not having a PlayStation, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not particular. Like, I watched it for the sake of like this, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have watched it. And I watched it, and there were some interesting games that I thought, oh, that looked good. But overall, I kind of watched it, and like, for me, the overwhelming feeling I had with it is it just felt like there wasn't a lot for them to say. Like, they'd done a state of play and there was nothing for me anyway. I kind of was like, this feels half-assed a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. See, I find I obviously find state of play for me is basically a direct where it just literally shows game.
I like the directs.
Whereas
I like the Nintendo Directs, and I feel like they're well done and something about it. But the Sony one I just watched was just flat. It was just okay. There wasn't, like, for me, there wasn't much revelation. Obviously, I know everyone like exploded with excitement with one game that was announced at the end, but it was like, it was just a bit flat. I was
Doom has disappeared again.
Developers. Oh no.
He's back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Right. So as I was saying with the Xbox One, they go into detail. They talk to developers, and it just feels.
That's the thing, though. I actually prefer the way the PlayStation and Microsoft do with indie inside, not indie at Xbox, where it's literally just show a couple of games, not a lot of chatting. Because I really don't care what the developers have to say. I just want to see a little bit of the gameplay or a little bit of footage and then move on to the next one. And then I don't want a lot of intricate details because I want to find them out for myself.
Yeah.
So obviously we are differing on the way we enjoy intaking our thingy-majigs. That sounds weird. We like to take differently.
We like taking in thingy-majigs, yeah. We like taking them differently.
Well, State of Play started with a game called Humanity. I thought it looked pretty odd. It looked pretty cool. I see like Lemon's game look fun from Genuel, and I don't know if it looked. I don't know what it was. It was like a puzzle game, but it was kind of different because there was like really weird shit going on, and the people were acting like it was more like a stream of water than it was people moving around. It looked really odd, and I thought it looked really cool. Personally,
it got my attention when when it first popped up. It got my attention. It kind of looked quite therapeutic. I got to be honest. Like watching like all these things happen, it looked quite pleasing on the eye. It's something that you could imagine being quite a relaxing game to play. Maybe very very pleasing on the visual senses. Interesting.
To be honest though, I'm really interested in that. It depends. I didn't know who it was made by and obviously what platforms it's coming to. But if that's an indie game that's on several platforms, I'll probably get it on PC. If it's only on the PlayStation, Pags, down! If it's only on the PlayStation, then I'll probably play it on the PlayStation because it's only on the PlayStation. So there you go. The next game was COD Modern Warfare. I was like, see, the thing is I really like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4, I really liked it. Then after that, I just like enjoyed them less and less. And then by the time I played Black Ops, I only played like a bit of the campaign. Really, I was like, I don't care. So
yeah, like Modern Warfare.
Am I right that Thor was in there, or someone who looked like Thor? One of the guys looked a lot like the guy who plays Thor.
Oh really?
Yeah, he turned around and it was like, hey, look, that's Chris Hemsworth.
Oh really? I didn't.
But it looks like he used to in Home and Away or something.
No, I didn't notice that at all. But yeah, I mean, it's a.
You gotta remember, I watch these things half asleep in the morning when I first wake up. So
it's with Call of Duty now. It's just, well, put it this way. I know that, for instance, there's been a fair amount of backlash. I can't remember why, but there is a fair amount of backlash, and as a result, pre-orders have taken an absolute plummet. So I think, thing is, I can't even say like, because these games. The problem is these games come out every year, but the developers, these 3 developers, so they technically have, they've got a year. They support it for a year, and then they start developing. So they have 2 years to develop a new game each. But yet, it just, like, bearing in mind they're different teams. For me anyway, they all produce in the same game. There's no differential in them. Everyone likes the Modern Warfare games, but it's been done, and it's kind of just rehashing it, and they're going to sell it for full price, and it's a rehashed version of the original one. I don't know. It's just, I think I don't want to say running out of ideas, but I think they're running out of imagination, to say the least. I think, as I said, it's caused backlash, and as a result, there are a lot less pre-orders on this game than there's ever been for a Modern Warfare, for a Call of Duty game. So
I know there's been an uproar with the new COD because there's supposed to be like some kind of microtransaction or something in there. That is a rumor, and the people who were working on the game have said like some of the things that have happened have come from the top. It's not us. We literally have no say in it. And other stuff that is rumored, don't always believe it because it might not be true.
No, yeah, exactly.
So if it's coming, can't really. Oh well, we all work on rumors and lies.
Yeah.
You barely end. I'm pretty sure when I was around 18, Chris Hemsworth was in Home and Away. So you're looking back about 16 years ago. I'm pretty sure he left the show with some woman and their kid. And I'm sure he was in a storyline where it wasn't sure if it was his kid or another person's kid.
Oh dear.
So, yeah.
All drama.
Yeah. Next up was Watam. I think that's what it's called, a Watam.
Watam.
Is
that the Katamari Damacy type game?
It is. I don't really know much about it, but what I wrote down when I was writing is, well, seems rather odd and quirky, like Katamari and Nobi Nobi Boy, which I've not really played much of. It's out in December. I haven't played much of either of them, but yeah, it looks weird, kind of like Nobi Nobi Boy and Katamari Damacy.
Yeah.
Have you played either of Nobi Nobi Boy or Katamari Damacy?
I haven't. No, they're not really my type of games. I can see the I can see the appeal, but they're not really my thing.
That's fair
So.
enough. Next up, we had Rise: A Simple Story. I can't remember what this is off the top of my head. I watched it last Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Last Wednesday. I just put down, seems odd. No, I didn't. Looks lovely, a little weird. Seems to have platforming, maybe exploration, and some puzzle aspects. Coming soon.
Yeah, and this is the trouble I found with, and this is the issue I had with this Sony presentation. They showed games, and I get it. They're trying to do it like a direct, so it's bite sizes. You know, it's easy to take in, but it's gone for me too far the other way. And I like that game, for instance. Visually looked great. I really liked the art style to that game, but I walked away from that going, what is it? Like you said, maybe a platformer, maybe an action RPG. I haven't got a clue, and that frustrates me because I'm like, well, you showed me something, but you haven't. You just what is the like? And that's the trouble is, if they do a direct, I got no problems with directs because I like the way Nintendo do them. But pretty much every Nintendo direct I've watched, they do give you that bit more information. They don't just go, like they at least show you what the game is. This was just a cutscene, basically. They showed you some cutscenes, and that was it. No gameplay, so not even telling you what type of game it is. It's very like, oh, great. And that frustrated me because this game actually looked quite good. And out of them all, this is the one that I was like, oh, this has interested me. But then at the end, when I was left going, what is it? It frustrated me.
Isn't that a good thing in a way, though? Isn't it? Oh, what is it? Maybe I should look into it a bit more, keep my eye out for a bit more information when it comes along, instead of, they blew their load 7 months before launch. And then not bother.
Yeah, I'm not asking them to do that, though. I'm just asking them to at least
a little more, like. Oh,
give me some.
Yeah, Doom have gone again.
Hello. Yeah, as I was saying, don't just show me a load of cutscenes. At least in the cutscenes, at least show us a smidge of what it is. You know, is it a platform? Is it an action RPG? You know, it's not enough information for me. You know, so.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like the question there is, you know, there's not so much a question. It's just about getting the right balance, because obviously when you have like too much information at once, it's like, and then they show in bits more, and it's like, well, I've already seen similar stuff. I don't need to see more. And it's a hard balance to get right then, because obviously you want to keep people interested to come back to look for more information. The majority of people, I don't care. A lot of the time, I'll watch something once and just go, I'll probably grab it, or I probably won't grab it, or whatever. But
that's fair enough. We all got different tastes.
Yeah, exactly. Next up was LA Noire PSVR case files. I haven't played LA Noire at all. I think I've got it on like Steam and the Xbox 360. I'm not sure exactly. And I don't know if this is like some of the old stuff in VR, or if it's new VR stuff. I would assume, because it's PSVR case files, it will be new stuff. But
I'm assuming new as well.
Obviously, when LA Noire came out, people were, I was amazed by the visual things going on. But looked like old stuff. Well, it's even less interesting then. Fuck it. Gone. Only joking. Anything you want to add? Doom?
Not particularly. Again, I assumed it was going to be new content, but maybe not. But yeah, it didn't really interest me that much. Not just because it was advertised for PlayStation. Just I haven't played LA Noire and it doesn't interest me. But I gotta say, I don't know if it's because they're trying to do it in VR or what, but facial. Obviously, I know about the facial expressions and they've got that down. But shall I tell you what? It almost looked odd because the facial features and the movements in the face were so accurate, but then that made the rest of the game look quite bad. Like it just didn't. It kind of outshone the rest of the graphics, and it just looked. It made it look old. Does that make sense? Like it made the game look old. It's too. For me, it's too jarring.
I think another thing with the VR version of the game is going to be a hell of a lot worse looking than like what it would be if it was like a remaster of the other one. Simply because PlayStation VR isn't as good, and I can't say about PC VR. I've never played PC VR like Vive or Oculus, but I'm assuming that would take a hit compared to a normal game because it's having to do the game twice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I would have thought so, but Jen was right. LA Noire looked janky as hell, and it did. Like again, facial features look great, but the rest of the game did not look great, and that's kind of a little off-putting. It's too jarring, you know. So I've started this episode off great, haven't I? All I've done is complain. yeah,
it's like having Matt. Next up was Gone. I actually think it looked pretty cool from what I've seen of it. I'm not so much on about the trailer there. I watched Devlin stream it back on the GRcade channel. I think it was the GRcade channel, may have been his a couple of months back on PC, and it looked pretty cool, just using like different weapons to bludgeon shit to death in VR, and I thought that looked cool. So I haven't really got much to add to that. That it looked cool, smashing shit up.
Yeah, just one of those games that you just have a bit of a blowout, basically, isn't it? And that's that. So yeah, looked okay. I still think VR is a little bit of a gimmick, and the games that are coming out for it, or the games and or updates for games like LA Noire, it's just gimmicks. I don't.
Nah. PSVR is VR in general is not really. I swear to God, it is fucking awesome. It's not like 3D. Like people like, oh, but remember when people were going about 3D? But that's really different. VR is so different to that, and there's so many games that are like most people go, oh, but I don't like playing first-person games. It's like, well, play something different. Astrobot is one of the best fucking platformers I've played in my lifetime, and that's only available on PlayStation VR. And it is amazing, like trying to do this stuff on this platform and then leaning forward and looking around corners to check for any obstacle and secrets and stuff. It's you just can't do that with a normal game. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I don't like being so heavily plugged into things. Like I get that it's really immersive, but that's too immersive for me.
You're missing out, man. I swear.
I get really uncomfortable, like when my senses are cut off from the rest of the world. When you got headphones on and this thing on, and you're totally cut off from the rest of the world, and I don't like that. I do like to be somewhat grounded, and it's just really like, I don't know, just it just makes me really uncomfortable. Really, you just
Fair enough. Yeah, VR is awesome. It's a shame that you're so against it, but I would definitely say it's not a fucking gimmick. Personally, from having experience with it, like.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
a lot of people say that it's a lot of people say it's a gimmick, and it's like it's still increasing in popularity. The issue with VR is it's so expensive.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
If it was like, you buy the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and you get a fucking proper full-on VR headset and shit with it for like 400 quid, you're not going to be complaining. And to be fair, PSVR now is usually in deals for like £200 with 5 games. it is fucking well worth it.
Yeah. Still, I can think of a lot better things to spend 200 quid on. Most of the point, I don't have a PlayStation, so I'd have to buy a PlayStation, then the PSVR, and by the time I've done that, there's 450, whatever I've just spent, just blown. No. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, if they crack it and they kind of, if at the end of the day, in the future, everything might be VR, and I've got no choice but to play in VR. But at the moment, if I've got a choice, I'm happy with a TV. Personally.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I just, I genuinely think people are missing out when they haven't tried it, and you know, it is fucking awesome. Kirkin is happy with his cup and ball.
Oh, there we go then.
Right. Up next is Aspire 1 VR Operations. It was just a shooty-looking team game with guns, I think.
Weirdly, I don't even remember that game coming up.
Yeah, it just looked like a CS:GO kind of game. I'm not saying it was Counter-Strike Source kind of that kind of little tactical squad game. It looks like in VR. It's coming in winter. I don't. No, it's coming in September. I don't care. Supposedly. Stardust Odyssey. I was very disappointed when I saw this, and I didn't see Mario. As Assassin's Creed and Stardust has burned me now. Honestly, I agree with Jawa. Astrobot is... With VR, I tried the deep sea dive, and fuck me, was it tense when that shark was trying to guzzle me down. But when I went into Astrobot, I was amazed. The only reason why I haven't got it set up constantly is because of my way I've laid out my room now. I've got literally no way to set up the VR headset tidy, so I need to buy a stand to put the camera on, and I'm going to do that. And the good thing is as long as your VR headset is connected to the PlayStation and you've got a camera somewhere, it doesn't need to the PlayStation doesn't need to be connected to the TV. So you could have like a fucking take your VR headset outside and plug in the PlayStation and all that sort of shit, and it'll still be fine. You don't need a TV at all, like so. Anyway, Stardust Odyssey, I'm sure is a Stardust series game. In the sense of like I played Super Stardust HD on the PlayStation 3. It's like a kind of top-down shooty game, and you go around a globe shooting stuff. That was fun, but this looked like completely fucking different. But it's a VR game, I think, so that probably explains why. But anyway, that's coming out in the winter. After the Fall was next. I can't remember what that was.
No.
Again, it was a VR game from the looks of it. Up next then was Space Channel 5 VR Kinda Funky News Flash. I don't know if it's Space Channel 5 or Space Channel 5 2 in VR, but I know a lot of people like Space Channel 5. I think it's a Dreamcast music game, like a kind of like Guitar Hero and stuff, but obviously not with a guitar. And obviously this is in VR, so it's going to be a lot more immersive for people. So I assume it would be enjoyable for those that like it. I never played Stardust back on the Amiga. I only ever played Stardust HD. And I think there was another Stardust game that came out later on the PS3. Do you have any thoughts on Space Channel 5? It's an old Sega game.
Yeah, I never played it. I very, as I said, I watched this for the sake of doing this, and I really, honestly, I don't think I can get across how much I struggled to keep interested in it. Not just because it's Sony and I'm not that interested in Sony, but because I found this state of play so unbelievably boring, because they just wasn't enough for me. So the last 3 games you've stated, bearing in mind I watched, they not remember. I definitely cannot remember seeing any of these games. That's how much I blanked. So I do apologize. I am seriously struggling. There was absolutely like nothing for me in terms of nothing made me interested in the PlayStation at all. The VR didn't do it for me, as we're aware. Do you know what I mean? So I am seriously struggling with this.
That's fair enough.
So, like, after every game, I'm like, oh, Death Stranding's coming up now, innit? Or Last of Us is coming up now. And I'm like, no, what? I don't even remember that last game. That, so I don't want to.
Dude, we've cut it again. Fucking Discord, stop being shit.
Crick and Doom, you're actually in a VR simulation right now. Well, if I am, then are you suggesting that we're in the Matrix, basically? That's kind of how it sounds to me. For all we know, we might just be in a big Matrix, and that would be mad. I think that's a conversation to have on a different podcast. Are we in a Matrix? Yeah.
Okay. Well, next up,
yeah, I just wanted to make it very, very clear that I am genuinely trying, but I cannot remember those last 3 games we've talked about. So
fair enough. Next up was Medieval. It was a PlayStation 1 game.
I remember this one.
I haven't played it.
No.
There's a demo available briefly. I can't remember when it ends, but I've now played it. It looked pretty cool, but
yeah, it looked funky.
My knowledge of it.
I've seen a fair amount of this on Twitter. People there's a bit of a hype train behind it, I think. And
yeah,
looks funky.
Rebellion says mediocre.
Mediocre. Yeah, it looked interesting. Like the art style. Again, didn't have enough information. Can't really talk about it because I was like, oh, that looks nice. Yeah, great.
Yeah, well, I think it's been shown before, so it's like an update of stuff.
As I said, there's on Twitter, there's definitely a bit of a hype train behind this. So,
next up then was Sid Meier's Civilization 6.
Sid Meier's, yeah.
Sid Meier's Civilization.
Yeah, I know it's on PC. I think it's on Xbox as well, isn't it? Civilization 6.
I know there is a Civ game on the Xbox, but that's going back to the Xbox 360. I don't know about the Xbox One.
I want to say 6 is already on the Xbox, but I might be wrong. I'm not the best person to ask on this one. I've got a friend who really likes those games, and I know he plays one on the Xbox. I just don't know which one it is. But I assume it's on PC. So...
But I've played a little bit of Civilization 5 with, I think it was Dragon, Kaiser, and Carl back a while back, which we were all having fun, and then the game fucked up. And the CPU really fucked me over. Like, I was like just chilling out, and then the CPU went, whoa, and killed me. So yeah, that was fun.
Great.
Basically, it comes out in November. It has some free DLC included. Like I said, it was really fun. I don't know how it will play or how clunky it will be on an Xbox, a pad. Like with keyboard and mouse, is so much. It's gonna be so much better to do because of how it works. Obviously,
like for pads.
Oh, you cut out, man, and you've just come in. I didn't know you were talking.
As much as they try and optimize these for gamepads, they are very, very clunky still, and everything is you got to do the long way around, and it can get quite frustrating. So I'm yet to find a game that has really cracked it, and I'm sure there is a way of cracking it. I just think people aren't. I don't think it's been discovered yet.
I think a lot of people like the Halo War. Is it Halo Wars? Halo Wars.
Halo Wars, yeah.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people like the controls for that. But when I guess it's kind of different to Civ as well, though. There's other things going on in Civ.
Yeah,
but Halo Wars is more like, I'd say, Command and Conquer.
Yes,
from what I played.
And that seems to lend itself to a pad much better.
Next up was Death Stranding. This is what I wrote down. It does nothing for me. And I said, the PS4, the Special Edition PS4 would be easy to replicate. Just buy a fucking white controller, put some ink on your hands, and slap your fucking hand on the fucking PlayStation. Yeah. Boom, you've got a fucking Death Stranding PS4 for less than they would cost.
The one thing I would say is that the controller actually really nice. I like the transparent yellow.
I was on the console.
Yeah, no, the console didn't do anything for me, but the controller, that clear yellow, actually looked quite nice. But yeah, the game, there's so much hype. There's so much hype behind this game. Like, people on Twitter are going nuts over it. I don't understand why.
I genuinely think if this was not a Kojima game, people would be much less interested. I'm not saying this is with Jawa, because I don't think that Jawa actually is that thingy about. Because he mentioned Death Stranding. I'm really excited for Death Stranding. He doesn't speak like that. But he's saying he's excited for the game. But I don't think like Kojima has any factor in that for him. I just think he likes the weird nature of the game. To me, it looks weird, but it also looks really boring.
Well,
I genuinely think that console, it's literally just a white console with a handprint on it. I could literally just get a white PlayStation 4, put some black paint on my hand, and just press on the console, and then I'll have a special edition Death Stranding PlayStation 4. I could do an even specialer edition and get a black PlayStation 4 and put a yellow handprint on it and say it's toxic. Woo!
See,
anyway,
the thing with this, I was reading a interview with Kojima, and he said that you won't understand what the game is until halfway through you've played through. Which I'm just like, when people start saying stuff like that, I immediately want to like just get away from games like that as quick as possible, because you're making them. I don't mind games that are quirky. At the end of the day, I love Sea of Thieves because it's quirky as hell. I love Stardew Valley because it's quirky. But when you're being like obtusely quirky like this, like you're not meant to understand what the game or what you do it like in terms of story wise. Nothing. He said nothing will make sense until halfway through the game, which that's just poor writing. I don't care how good this guy. I don't care about what he's done in the past with Metal Gear. I do not give a shit. That is just straight up bad writing. Would you sit down and watch a film if it was 2-3 hours long? Let's say a 3-hour long film. Would you say that was a good film if you didn't understand the first half of it? No. Nobody would.
It may have the continent maps, Jawa, but it still, to me, just looked like two handprints. It wasn't exactly really nice. It was just two fucking handprints. And at the end of the day, you could probably just get two handprints that look the same by printing them out, just sticking them on. I know, it's for that PlayStation is it's just meh.
Well, can I point out, not to sound like an Xbox fanboy, because Xbox have got their things. The last Xbox special edition that came out was the Gears 5 one, and that looks sick.
Really cool.
That looks. That's
one of the few consoles I've actually think looks nice. Most special editions from any of the manufacturers, apart from some of the Nintendo ones, because like just a character on it that I like. A lot of the time it's just like meh.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I gotta admit, there's a lot of like 2DS and 3DS limited edition designs that I really like. Like I've got the Pokeball one, the 2DS XL. I really want the Hyrulean Shield 3DS XL, new 3DS one. So they can be done well, and that Xbox One X, the Gears 5 one, looks incredible. This few handprints on it doesn't do much for me personally.
No, I get the point about it.
Like I said,
if you
the second
you've cut out again, Doom.
No, I was just going to reiterate the same point I've made about 3 or 4 times now. I just think anyone who says you're not meant to understand it until halfway through, it's just bad writing. That is just bad writing. I don't care what anyone says. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fair enough. The thing is, for me, is like I'm taking the piss out of the console, and yeah, it may have a bit more significance with it, but at the same time, it just seems pretty boring. And the point is I get the significance with the handprints because they pop up along the world with those weird things, but it seems to be like 2 different worlds. One world is dead and one world isn't, or something. Because like one of the videos I showed before was a woman who had one of those creatures those weird things that like invisible, and you could see them sometimes, which was kind of connected to her, and she called her baby. And if from the sounds of it, she lost her baby, so maybe it's like the spirit world and the real world. So who knows? Anyway, enough of that. After Party. I first saw this, I believe, at ID at Xbox, which is the indie, which is basically Xbox Indie Direct. It's the Xbox version of the Nintendo Direct, which is basically what this is. Exactly the same, but with indie games. I thought it looked fucking awesome. I really like the look of the game.
I remember, for me, I first read it in Gamer Magazine. I think it was called Gamer Magazine. It was last June. So what's that? 12, 15 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was reading an article in that magazine about this game and about the what the idea of the game was and how the development's going. And from the word go, it really got my interest. Didn't hear anything of it for over a year, so I assumed, maybe it's not. I don't know, maybe not. And then all of a sudden, obviously, it pops up, and I was like, oh yes, this looks awesome.
No, I think the game looked really sweet, and seeing a bit more of it just made me even more made me want to play it more. But I don't want to see too much more by now. It's like I've seen enough. But it does show up again in the Xbox event. And I skipped it because I didn't want to do it. They were talking about it as well for like 5 minutes. I was like, I don't want to know anymore. I've heard enough in the original announcement. That'll do.
Yeah, I love the art style as well. I love the visuals. Looks great.
Yeah. Next up was the PlayStation Plus games for October. I said, oh yay, a base yawn game, as in a baseball game. I have no interested. It's MLB The Show 19. And the other game was The Last of Us Remastered, which is awesome.
Yeah. Again, not that interested in baseball, but I'm sure it will be popular. And Last of Us Remastered is a good one to have, isn't it, at the end of the day? Although it's one of those games that I think it's one of those games that I think everyone who's got a PS4's got that game now. But I guess for the people who haven't got it, it's there then, isn't it? So.
Do you know what's really looking forward to trying The Last of Us? The thing is, though, is this is one thing that people say. It's like, oh yeah, if people already got the console who want this, or if they've got the console, they've got it. A lot still don't, because a lot of people will be like, oh well, I'll just wait till it comes to Plus.
Yeah. Well, it's we'll have this conversation now when we get into Xbox, but it's almost like that with the Game Pass. I'm almost reluctant to buy games for the Xbox now because I'm like, because in some cases, less than 2 months later, it's out on Game Pass anyway. Yeah.
And last thing that is showed in State of Play, Last of Us 2. I literally put, looks ace, coming out on the 21st of February 2020. Really, Naughty Dog are very good when it comes to the games, but the gameplay is not amazing. For example, Uncharted is really good, but the shooting's not great. They seem to have the same issue with Last of Us. Also, it's kind of stealthy, which I'm not a massive fan of stealth, but I was enjoying the game, so I kind of looked past that a bit. But the story stuff is really good as well. Again, I've said this before. Citizen Kane of games is a shit term, and I wouldn't say it's that. But at the end of the day, it is still really good, and it is better than it is. I'm not saying it's the best story, but it's definitely a game that does have a higher standard of story to it, and I think that's what people are coming to the sequel for as well, is some more story stuff with Ellie and Joel.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's cool.
And Doom doesn't care.
Oh, sorry. I thought you cut out. It went quiet for a second then, so I stopped. I was like, was it cut out? No, to be honest, no, I don't care that much. You know, I'm not. I've made it clear before. I'm not particularly a big fan of any form of horror games.
I wouldn't say Last of Us is any. From what I remember playing it, I would not call it a horror game. It's like an adventure game with some zombie-like creatures in it, but, you know, it's not scary.
Yeah. Fair enough.
In my opinion. Like, yeah, I would say it's not even as scary as Resident Evil, and that's not fucking scary.
No. Fair enough.
Ginny was saying, I finished Uncharted 1 last week, and the gameplay is utter shite. Playing 2 now, and it's better, but still not what it should be for something so hyped. I think now it is seen worse than what it was at the time, gameplay-wise. I think at the time it still wasn't the best gameplay, but it was still, I'd say, alright for its time. But because gameplay in that genre has progressed quite a lot, I think that is going to then
it hasn't aged well.
It hasn't aged, yeah, exactly. It hasn't aged well, considering it's only, what, like, I'm going to say 10 years, something. I wouldn't say the gameplay was spectacular for its time, because gunplay-wise, there was definitely better third-person games out there. And exploration-wise, Tomb Raider still was in my overall package. Okay, I'll give you that. Sum of its parts. It was better than the sum of its parts. Right, so we shall move on to Inside Xbox then. And the very first game that came up was a game called Atlas. I remember seeing this at E3, I think it was, a while back.
Yeah. It wasn't this year, it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was shown when at E3, and then it came out not long later on Steam, I think, as an early access game. And from what I heard, it was kind of shit at the time. I don't know if that's the same now, but I think there was a game called like Ark Survival or something, and a lot of people said it was basically that with pirates.
It's like, from what I've heard from people playing it, it's a reskinned version of Ark. And Ark was like, I bought Ark when it was in game preview, and it was buggy as hell, as to be expected. I then played it when it was released, and it was still buggy as hell, and that was when it was fully released, and I was like, okay. It just takes, with Ark for instance, everything, like if you needed to tame a dinosaur, some dinosaurs someone had to be on all the time, like, so you'd have to have a big group of you, and literally somebody would have to be on all the time looking after this dinosaur while you tame it. And some of these dinosaurs would take 3 or 4 days real game time, real time, 3 or 4 days worth to tame them, these big T-Rexes and that. And it's just not doable. I get what they're trying to do, but it was stupid. Like, make it attainable, you know, for a few people to do, not like 50 or 60 people, you know. And as far as I can tell, and from what I've heard, Atlas is just a reskinned version, basically.
That's why you heard about it before, but it's been like months since then, so I don't know anything about it now.
It's still in game preview, and it's just been released now as a preview game for Xbox, so it's still in its like beta form.
Oh yeah, I think Ark was for about 5 years, like.
Yeah, it was in for ages, and then it came out, and it didn't really do much. And this game's kind of going to be the same. As visually,
I think Ark is massively popular, though, isn't it? I think it's quite a big game, like.
Yeah, I think it's big for PC. I know that much. Xbox, I'm not so sure.
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't.
But yeah, no, the problem is, as we know, I make no bones about it, I absolutely adore Sea of Thieves.
He said Sea of Thieves, guys. Cut out again, but I'm letting you know he said Sea of Thieves.
But what's that?
I said you cut out, but I'm letting everyone know you said Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, thank you.
Yeah.
And like, it's not stepping on its toes because it's not being the same game, but the
No.
polish. We were talking about this while playing Rocket League earlier. The polish, the on that game, and everything about like that game has got it. You know, they've put so much effort into developing that game, and you can really see it. This Atlas game, I know it's in game preview, so things will get better. But if Ark was anything to go by, nothing really improved that much. They just kept adding more content rather than fixing bugs, and it's just not play. It's just you just can't play it. You literally need to find like a guild with like 200 people in, because otherwise you haven't got a hope in hell of getting anywhere, and it'll be the same with the game. I'm almost convinced. So it's one of those that. The
thing is, though, is when I look at Atlas and it shows bits of it, I actually think it looks quite good. I don't mean like visually it's a spectacle or anything. I think with the different aspects of things that it does, I think if it was a well done game and it wasn't a fucking survival game, it'd look good. Like you do lots of other things. Like you can hunt for treasure, you can go sailing. It seems like a bigger crew is needed for a ship, maybe. Yeah. And like you can do a lot. Like you can build like different houses and whatever else.
Yeah.
It seems like
you can claim islands and that.
Yeah. So it seems like it'd be interesting in that aspect. But hearing about Ark and the way that was, and also knowing it's a survival game, it just totally puts me off. Yeah. But I do like the fact that this is going to be cross-play between PC and Xbox straight away, and updates are going to be simultaneous to both the Xbox and the PC. Whereas, like say, Overwatch, for example, I think is different on PC to how it is on consoles. It's basically two separate fucking games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it looks quite interesting when you look at just like a video of some of the like bits they've snipped together. But I think overall, hearing like this survival game and there's different aspects, and it's pretty much Ark with pirates instead of dinosaurs. It really makes it seem like no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. No thank you. Anything else to say?
No. I think we're done with that game.
Yeah. Next up was a game called Children of Mortar. This was a roguelike game, roguelite game even. I thought it looked okay, but I'm not really into roguelites. The gameplay is very similar to Diablo, but the cool thing about this is no permadeath, so when your characters don't die and then you have to start a new character with nothing. And also, it actually sounded, when they were talking about it, sounded pretty cool for a roguelite. And you can change characters. It's like a family of, say, 5 people. And you can change between the characters and stuff. So it actually sounds quite fun. The issue for me is they said it's going to be co-op. It's couch co-op when it comes out. Yeah. Co-op is going to be added online. Online co-op is going to be added later down the line. For me, that would be if I was to purchase it, because it does actually look cool and it sounds a lot better than other roguelites that I've played. That would probably when I would jump in, if I was to jump in.
Yeah, for me, looks cool. I'm not normally the biggest fan of these roguelites, but this one does look pretty cool. But I want to wait to see if it comes out for the Switch, because I think this game lends itself to the Switch really nicely. So it's one of those games that it looks cool. I'm interested in it, but I want to see if it comes out on the Switch. I can't. It's just it sounds weird, but I'm sure maybe somebody understands out there that certain games for me. So no,
you cut out again.
Stupid. Never ever imagine. I'd never imagine being able to play Stardew Valley on the Xbox. I just can't. I can't even visualize it. It puts me off thinking about it. On the Switch, I'll play it forever. It's stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I associate certain consoles with certain games.
Yeah, maybe. The most time I've put into Stardew was on PC, and if I was to play it on my Switch, it would be on the TV, which my PC is connected to anyway, so it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference.
No.
But I like the look of this, and it sounded a bit more interesting than other roguelites. Which roguelites, I think, are lighter versions of a rogue.
I was going to ask, is there a difference between a roguelike and a roguelite?
A rogue-like is a game that is like the game Rogue from back on the fucking, I don't know, Spectrum or something. And a roguelite, I think, is a light version of a roguelite.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on it.
It's confusing.
Yeah. Next up is Project xCloud. There is a public preview in October, and you can register now at xbox.com/gamestreaming.
Yep.
I did it straight away.
I did as well. So did I.
Yeah. Oh, for those who don't know, I actually did cancel my Stadia pre-order.
Oh, did you?
I only cancelled it literally because I can't afford 100 and whatever right now. And I'm gutted because I wanted that fucking pad.
Yeah. I thought it was like for maybe you discovered something about it then. Oh, I got excited then. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've signed up to xCloud. I think, I do think game streaming is going to be the future. Sadly, it means that I just don't. I just don't trust Google because they've got a little bit of a habit of kind of dipping their toe in something and then going, no, it's not for us, and they shut it down, and then you're screwed. So you've paid money for games that you can no longer access.
Yeah.
At least with Microsoft, they've been in the game since 2000, 2001, whatever it is. I doubt they're suddenly gonna go, no, it's not for us. Like if they're pumping into this, then I would be willing to see them hanging around. And more to the point, I'm already involved in the Microsoft ecosystem, so I'd be more likely to go with xCloud. But the thing I'm actually more interested in, I have signed up. I would like to try it if I get picked.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's what I'm really interested in. I've got the internet capabilities to do it. So I'd love. I like that idea more because it means I can still buy my games. I can still own them. I can still own the console to play them on. But then, like, I'm not just relying on game streaming because, for instance, games. If you just stream games, you always have to rely on your internet connection, no matter where you are. I like the idea. Like for me, this game streaming thing, as I've elaborated with how I use the Switch, is the same way that I would have used the Wii U if I had a Wii U, in terms of it's an extension. It's not something that I'd be willing to have as a permanent, like something to permanently rely on, but it's an extension of what's already there. So when I'm in my house, I like the feeling of being able to switch on at my console with my games on it and just play, like knowing that those games are on the hard drive or on a disc or on a cartridge or whatever.
The thing is, though, if streaming takes off, how many generations do you think it'll last before everything is just streaming?
Yeah, well, everything is good. That's it. Is everything is going to stream, and it is going to be the future. But for now, I just like that idea of when I'm at my home and I want to play on the games, go in the games room and play. I've got my console with my games on the disc or whatever I've got on. But then if I want to go downstairs and play down there, there's there. I can just pull my phone out, get my controller, bang, away I go. If I want to go out, if I'm in work and I'm like, I'm a bit bored, or I want to play Sea of Thieves on my phone, bang, I can do that. But I don't want it to be like something I have to rely on at all times. I just this sounds really like anti-establishment, but like I just think it gives too much control to the companies because you are hoping like they don't pull the plug on you.
Yeah, this is the issue with digital stuff in general, though.
It is, yeah.
So it's like we're slowly signing over everything to them anyway. I think as soon as you go digital, you've lost fucking half your shit, and I'm pretty sure they reckon that. I'm sure when it comes to game download, they actually say you don't own the product anyway, so they just take it off you. And another thing is say, like, I know if you're a dickhead on Xbox Live or something and you have your console banned or whatever, and you can't your account banned anyway, you're gonna lose a lot of access to your games anyway. Fair enough, if you're a dickhead, you should lose some stuff. But at the same time, if you've put thousands and thousands of pounds into their ecosystem, they shouldn't then say, well, no, you can't have your stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think in order for streaming to be a trusted thing, there has to be certain what's the word I'm looking for? Guarantees that they put in place. So like I don't know how, I'm just talking hypothetically. Policies, there has to be something, because again, like you said, if people invest in Stadia, you know, you might completely move. You might have sold your Xbox, sold your PlayStation, sold your Switch, and gone straight to Stadia, and you're pumping in hundreds of pounds a year, maybe thousands of pounds a year on games on that thing. Like, what guarantees do you have that if they go under, there's something that secures your games? I don't know how. I'm not saying for some reason they stop supporting Stadia because they want to pull out of the market. They will allow you to download your games, so at least you've got them digitally. They have to provide something, because like it's do you know what I mean? It's like I
know what you're
can't
saying.
fathom how it would work without guarantees.
Like I said, thing with streaming, thing with digital downloads, that's a big problem. One thing Steam said years ago was if they stop doing it, you would just get like access to the games anyway. But the way Steam has become now, people are going to be like, no one is going to believe it. They're going to stand by that fucking thing they said however many years ago. And that's a problem, isn't it? It wasn't a contractual thing. It was just something they said, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
you know.
Yeah. Game Pass is up next. Yes, and the first game they showed was Jump Force. I think it looks quite meh. I've played Jump Stars and Jump Superstars, and they were fucking brilliant. But then they went to the Tenkaichi style fighting thing that Dragon Ball Z did, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, and I didn't like that as much. It's like the same kind of fighting style that's in Dragon Ball Z, the one with the time stuff in it. I can't remember the name of it. That one. No Dragon Ball Fighters. Not that one. So yeah, I'm not really that interested in it myself. What about you, dude? Are you interested in Jump Force?
You know what? It's on Game Pass. I'll probably download it just to try it, but I highly doubt I'm probably gonna really get into it. But hey, you know, it looks interesting. So that's.
Next game they said about or showed was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I played this back in on PC back in July. I fucking loved it. Awesome.
What is
awesome
it? Is
Metroidvania
game. Metroidvania type game.
It's basically Iga. He worked on a lot of the Castlevanias after Symphony Night. I think he played a lot of Symphony Night when I think it was his wife or girlfriend who was working on the game. So he was kind of like a play tester, but not a play tester. But I think after that, he worked on like several of the Castlevania titles. Well, he formed a new company and made this.
Okay. So,
and it is really good.
While you're here then, and while we're on that subject, as I mentioned to you, I've actually downloaded Ori from the Game Pass to play. I like Metroidvanias, but I'm determined to finish one. But I don't need it to be like I need to ease myself into the genre so I can actually get one finished. Is there for instance, I've downloaded Ori. I don't know how hard that is for Metroidvanias. Would you recommend that? What Metroidvania would you recommend for me to play?
I never finished Ori and the Blind Forest. I assume that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I never finished that. I didn't find that too bad for navigation and stuff. I just got to the third tree or whatever the fuck it was, and I just found it difficult to not die because I kept landing on stuff that killed me and it just bugged me. But that was more my incompetence than anything. But it wasn't like to me from where I played of it. It wasn't something like Metro with a big sprawling thing. We have to go from one end of the map to another end of the map with a new fucking upgrade or something. But I really enjoyed Ori and the Blind Forest. I just wish I'd finished it. This, I would say, is not the best jumping in point if you're not really. It's not.
Well, this could be a thing for chat as well. Like, recommend me a Metroidvania style game that would ease me into it.
Honestly, the one that I can think of off the top of my head is Iconoclasts. It's a Metroidvania, but it's lovely to ease you in. Like Super Metroid, I can get what Matt is saying. It is fucking like one of, if not the best game in that style. The problem is it might be for someone who's not really into those kind of games, starting with something which is quite a big game and is a lot more difficult than something and smaller, maybe a bit more off-putting. I think if you want to start with smaller games and build up to them, I think that would be maybe a good idea. But maybe jumping in from the deep end might be the best thing for some people. But I think for you, as you're saying, you've not finished a Metroidvania, I do think like Ori would be good as well. But like Matt's saying, it's a Metroidvania platformer. From what I played of Ori, like I said, I got to the third tree, which I think is like pretty much near the end. I didn't find it a lot of go back and forth.
Yeah.
I found that you get your upgrade and then you just go to the next place. You wouldn't have to keep going back and forth. Yeah. I find you do that in a lot of games, which are Metroidvanias. So I would say Ori would be good to start with, as well as Iconoclasts.
So what is it called? Iconoclasts, is it?
Yeah, Iconoclast.
What systems is that for? Is that for Xbox?
I am unsure if it's on the Xbox. I do believe it is on Switch and on the PC.
Oh, okay. I'll
I think it came out February last year on Steam. I fucking loved it. It was one of my favorite games that year.
Because where would you rank? You've played it. Where would you rank Hollow Knight on the scale of, easy to hard, long to short? Right.
I have played Hollow Knight. I've played it for about 10 hours. I think
it looks stunning.
I believe I'm about a fifth of the way in. If you want to do everything, you're looking at least 50 hours.
Okay.
So that's a big
maybe one to build up to. Yeah, maybe one to build up to.
And
I'll have a look at Iconoclasts, and I've got Ori, so
yeah. Well, that's the thing. See, I'm playing Hollow Knight and Yakuza 0, and I'm
probably more likely to finish it.
Yeah, I think Hollow Knight would be something you should leave for a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So after Bloodstain, honestly, Bloodstain is fucking brilliant, man. Loved it. Next up though was a game called Lego Worlds. For those who don't know, it's basically a Lego game
Minecraft,
like Minecraft. It's basically what Minecraft was based on. I don't know if Minecraft was based on Lego, but I remember back in the day when people were playing Minecraft, it's like, oh yeah, it's like Lego, but in a game form. And now there is a Lego game. Like, you know what I mean? I think there was a Lego game similar to that many, many years ago, but it got shut down because it was taking too much money and manpower to go around closing down all the worlds where people were making giant dicks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I knew about that from something else, but also on one of the podcasts I listened to called No Such Thing as a Fish, it was one of the interesting facts they brought up. No Such Thing as a Fish is by the people who do research for the facts they have on QI.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh, hang on. What's Matt's to here? If Doomy has Nintendo Online, he can play Super Metroid on the SNES app. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I do have Nintendo Online.
Yeah.
So,
and the good thing
is it's there.
You can use save states then as well if you wanted to, instead of using save points, which you'll get through those games.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. There you go. And then it was next up was PC Games Game Pass, which was Bad North. That looks cool, but
I've got that for Switch.
Any good?
Yeah, it's I'd say it's an original take on like your castle defense games. Do you know what I mean? And it is it is. Sorry, I was just reading what you said there. Nintendo Switch Online lets me play multiplayer Mario at 1 frame per second. Yeah, no, it's it's a different take on like a castle defense, but there's also a certain amount of like squad management, because you've got you've got a certain amount of leaders who you can put certain amount of units to, and then it's depending how many leaders you want to use per defense. Once you've used them, they're out for a turn. So yeah, it's good though. It is good. It gets quite hard towards. I'm probably towards the middle of it now, and it does get quite hard. But it's a cool game. It is cool. If you like that defense type game, you'd like this.
All right. There's not a lot of defense games I think I've ever finished. I think the one that I've enjoyed the most is Plants vs Zombies.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
I fucking loved Plants vs Zombies.
Not
Garden Warfare. Plants vs Zombies. The one where you literally
The original.
collect sun and then put down fucking plants while the zombies are coming. That sounded worse than I intended to.
On the note of Bad North, it's permadeath. So if your leader dies, you lost them. So if you've put time and effort in leveling them up and all that, it's permadeath. Which I only found out after losing one of them that I'd put a lot of time and effort into. That really annoyed me. So
yeah. For those listening, there's a guy named Grum who was playing a game called Fire Emblem Three Houses. He was playing it for a long time, lost loads of characters, thought he put it on baby mode, and it turns out he had not enough people to finish one level because they all died. He even basically hired other people who also died, and he fucked himself over.
Oh dear.
Because of permadeath. So be careful if you have permadeath on to make sure you know.
Yeah.
Next up then, it said Dirt Rally 2.0. I have no interest in racing games. I don't care.
As Pedz probably saw earlier, I tried this game because I kind of was looking forward to it. And what I would say is, unless you are an experienced player of rally games, simulation rally games, you don't want to touch this one with a barge pole. I'm not saying I'm the best at racing games, but around tracks and on games like Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, I can hold my own. This game, it's like full simulation, and literally there is absolutely no tutorial whatsoever. It just throws you straight into a career mode, and it doesn't explain anything. It literally goes, go, have fun with it. And
the Dark Souls are racing games. They actually said that as well.
They literally said that.
Doom cut out again.
But
he's back. He's back.
Hello. If you like simulation races and you like rallying, that game will be fine for you if you know what you're getting into. This game is not beginner friendly at all. Absolutely, I uninstalled it. I played it for an hour and I was like, this is not fun. This is stressful because it punishes you from the word go. And yeah, okay, the idea is keep going back and you'll get better. But I still believe that you should have a way to ease you in a little more. This just punished you from the word go with no explanation to it either. Couldn't even tell you what you were doing wrong. So I was like, nah, this was not enjoyable. So I literally uninstalled it after an hour, which I was really disappointed by because I was really looking forward to this game. And it's knocked my confidence. Like, it's just knocked my interest in it. I will not be reinstalling that game because I literally do not have the time in my life to play that game over and over and over again until I eventually get good at it. I'll either lose interest or I've got a baby on the way. Like that's going to be born before I'm. I shouldn't say that because we know the sex now. It's a girl, so she's going to be born before I get good at that, and then I'm not going to have any time to play it. So it's not beginner friendly, to say the least.
You wanted a girl as well, didn't you? You and your missus.
We did want a girl, yes. So
well,
we did a gender reveal on Sunday. Thank you. So
I am right in thinking that Dirt Rally was originally the Colin McRae Rally series, weren't I?
Yes.
Because I remember back in the day, this is when I was a fucking kid, Colin McRae, like, was fucking beloved. The games, probably the guy as well, I don't really know. And then all of a sudden, people, like, really disliked them because I think people thought they went bad. And then all of a sudden, people started really liking them again because they started getting good. And then I think he died. And then I think they changed the name from Colin McRae to Dirt or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of binging. Up next was City Skylines. This looks fucking awesome. It really does. If you like SimCity, this looks like SimCity on fucking steroids. It's just like SimCity done right. That sounds harsh on SimCity. I know that the last SimCity, though, people were well pissed off with it. It's always online and blah, 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 blah. But this looks fucking awesome. I've got it. I've just not played it.
No.
I think it's Ubelian on on GRcade who is fucking enamored by this game. It's very, very good looking. It looks nice. And I'd love to play it. But
this game came out on Switch as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I thought I said Vermilion. I meant Vermilion. I didn't mean you. I think it. Yeah, I thought it was announced. I didn't know it came out. Yeah,
it's out, but the frame rate like just tanked. It's not really Switch friendly as far as I'm aware. But it's out. You know, say it's out on the Game Pass, and I've seen a few people playing it, and I don't mind those SimCity type of games. But again, you know, it is designed with a pad in mind, but I still think you just got to do things a little bit awkwardly.
I think this is
the long way round.
I think this was announced for the PC part of Games Pass, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, because it's been out for Xbox for a while.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Ubelian. I meant Vermilion. I knew who I was on about, but said the wrong person. One of you should change your names. Like, obviously on GRcade, you're actually not Ubelian, though, are you? Just you. Anyway, next up was Saints Row 4. Fucking awesome. God. I fucking love Saints Row 4. Saints Row 2, Saints Row 4, and then Saints Row 3, and then Saints Row 1. Saints Row 4 is awesome. Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, and Saints 4 very good games. I like 3 less than 2 and 4 by quite a fair margin, actually. Saints Row 2, like, the first Saints Row came out and it was pretty much just a GTA clone. It wasn't it didn't really have its own style. Like, you created, I guess the style of it was you make your character. But that was it. And then in the second game onwards, that's when it comes into its own. It is fucking brilliant. Saints Row 3 loses one of the main characters from 2. And it's the worst for it. One of the other main characters is a completely different character in the sense of she is not the way she was in the second game. And in the fourth game, both versions of her are in there. And I prefer the old version. Saints Row 4's fucked up. But yeah, the Saints Row games are really good. They're just silly fucking fun and generally fun to play. Better than GT fucking A.
Again, I think I've got it installed because it's been on Game Pass on Xbox for ages. I've got it installed. I've just never got around to playing it. But yeah, it looks like one of those games you can just go on and have a blast. And
honestly, if Saints Row 2 is on, if backwards compatible on the Xbox One and you manage to get it, I will happily stream that with you and play through the entire game. And then I will play 3. And then I will play 4. And then I will play Gat Out of Hell. And I mean that. Cool. I love the games. I just think it's so much fun. Like,
yeah. Yube here says the Volition have officially confirmed that they're developing a new Saints Row game.
I did not know that. The last game I know they did was that Agents of Mayhem, which I believe
God.
has GAT in it.
That did not go well.
But that didn't go down well, and I did play it once, and it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just like a bit boring, and also I just never went back to it, so I never got to experience how bad the game can be. I'm not complaining. Oh well. So next up was a saying that ID at Xbox is coming soon. They just give you a glimpse of 3 games that are going to be presented today properly. The first one was a game called Genesis Noir. It is a detective story during the Big Bang.
Yeah, this looks really interesting, actually.
But you're not allowed to be interested because they didn't give very much information.
But they gave more information than what Sony were giving with theirs. So
I suppose they just said it's a Big Bang detective game, and that was it.
yeah, well, at least that was more than what. At least they said that. Like Sony, they didn't even do that. They literally just went, "Here's some here's some clips of a game. We're not going to tell you anything."
I think they only did that with one game. Though. I think they did that with everyone. I think most of the other games they did actually speak over, which was annoying. I wanted to see the game and its beautiful music.
Yeah, no, just then again, like I'm interested in the Big Bang and science and everything, so that was always going to grab my attention anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm interested in it, and I'm definitely gonna look at it. It sounds different. Obviously, I don't know. Like realistically, it's a detective noir style game, so I don't know how much the setting would actually change much. Yeah. But it's an interesting concept nonetheless. Next up was a game called Lonely Mountains. I wrote down download BMX Downhill. I don't know why I wrote that. Downhill BMX Downhill. I clearly meant BMX Downhill game or Downhill BMX game, but wrote the Downhill BMX Downhill. So anyway, it just looks like it's kind of isometric, I guess. A kind of cell-shaded BMX game where you go downhill.
Yeah, looks very physics-based.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of Trials, but downhill.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Next up was a game that, honestly, it's a pinball game, and it's called Demon's Tilt. When they said the name of it, I thought it might be some kind of successor to Devil's Crush, or Devil's Crash, whatever it's called. But it isn't. It really reminded me that aesthetically. But it's a pinball game with bullet hell stuff included. I don't know how that will work, but a lot of people seem to be doing stuff with pinball games now. There was Yoku's Island Express, which is a Metroidvania / pinball game. There's that other pinball game that people have been talking about that I can't remember, which I think is like an action game as well. So, you have any thoughts on any of these 3 games?
Not a huge amount. They looks cool. I would be interested to hear more about it. I want to figure out how the concept of a bullet hell and a pinball game goes together. So
yeah, it sounds like Yoku's Island Express sounds a bit weird. It's a pinball game where you have to explore stuff like a Metroid game, and you think, well, that's a bit strange, but you can kind of understand how it would go. Kind of like Sonic Spinball done right, with exploration included. This, it's like, well, if you're using your pinball, are you then shooting stuff, or are you trying to avoid bullets at the same time with your ball? Because, if you're getting shot and it's a bullet hell, a lot of the time you have to work out patterns and how you're going to do that when you're smashing a ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds very weird mash of genres.
Yeah.
That was it for the Idea at Xbox announcement, I guess. The next game they showed was Code Vein. It was described as a anime vampires in a dystopian future. Yeah, Code Vein. And it is Dark Souls-esque, and I was just like, meh.
Yeah. Anime vampires.
And Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, yeah, pretty much.
Meh.
Cool. If you like that kind of thing, great. If you don't,
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, next up though was this game that has been shown before. I think it was E3 last year. Don't quote me, I might be wrong. Called Outer Worlds. Looks right.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this.
It's set on several worlds. It looks like 3 different worlds. I believe they're 3 worlds, not 3 places on one world.
No, 3 separate worlds.
Yeah, which would explain why it's called Outer Worlds, not Outer World. But I'm curious how much of the worlds are explorable. If it's going to be too big, or if it's going to be a game where you go to one world one time, then you do another playthrough, go to another world, then another playthrough to see you on the 3rd world. Obviously, you can choose.
Yeah. I think, from what I gather, you start off on one world, do what you want there, and then you can move over and do the other ones.
I wonder if that, I wonder if that's going to be too big a game for a lot of people.
It could be, but it's so the guy, the head developer of this game was the one who was the creator of the original Fallout games.
Yeah.
Then they created Obsidian, and they're the ones who did Fallout New Vegas, which to a lot of people
Nope, you've cut out again, Doom.
Is the best. So it's these guys doing their own things.
Oh, you're back.
Hello.
Back. Hello.
So these guys, they basically, if you like Fallout New Vegas, you're going to like this. So Fallout's a traditionally quite large game, so I'm expecting this to be a pretty big game. They are saying that they're allowing any playstyle you want, so you can anything from you can absolutely lone wolf it as a run and gunner, or you can talk your way out of all the situations if you want to, or you can gather a bit of a crew together. You can kind of hire random people to kind of become so you've got a bit of a crew, and then you can build on your leadership stats, which will then allow you to kind of have more flexibility over your team. You've got different jobs, and that's what will depend on what world you start on. I'm trying to think now. And if you want, there's weapons that will allow you to be a bit of a mad scientist. There's a shrink ray. There's one that alters your face. It's very when I say open-ended, it's allowing all forms of gameplay basically. So I guess in a way it's like that Fallout type, Fallout, Skyrim, those type Elder Scrolls type games where they're giving you the tools and they're just allowing you to run with it and kind of seem kind of make your own story. There's a story behind it, but it's kind of go and make your own fun,
The thing is like you said, they made the first Fallout. They did Fallout 2. They did New Vegas as Obsidian. And I think the person they were speaking to at the time said she worked on the 3 games. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least people she was with at the time. But honestly, when I was looking at it, it reminded me of Fallout, the way, I don't know, there was something about it that just made me think of Fallout when it was being played. But obviously it's much nicer, it's a lot more vibrant, it's just more colourful, just looks fun. More fun. It looks like a more fun place to be than apocalyptic fucking whatever, you know what I mean? Also, it looks like a more fun game. But the thing is most people consider New Vegas to be the better of the new styled Fallout, simply because it offered so much more variety and ways to do things and options.
And this is what this will offer.
The other ones did, and this variety is obviously what they do, because they've obviously got the pedigree there from where they created Fallout, and it's going to be interesting now to see them do stuff. And people love fucking Obsidian anyway, because people genuinely think they do really good games. I haven't got much experience with them that I'm aware of, to be honest. So, but I'm definitely interested in looking at this. I'm going to keep my eyes out. But a lot of people get confused between this Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds, which is another game I actually want to play, which I believe is supposed to be very, very, very good, actually.
It's on Game. That's on Game Pass. Also, it's worth saying Outer Worlds will be on Game Pass day 1.
Nice. You hearing that, guys? I'm going to play it day 1.
And it's out this month, October.
25th,
I say
isn't
this
it?
month. 20, yeah, something like that, yeah.
25th. Woohoo! I'm gonna get. It's not my birthday that day. My birthday the day before, but I'll class it as my birthday present to myself. A game that's free for me, kind of.
Yeah.
Next up was God of War 5. Sorry, Gears of War 5. They didn't really talk about it much that I remember. I may have skipped if they were talking about it. They said they were adding, I think it was 4 characters, 4 maps, and over 400 customizable options.
Yeah, something like that.
And I was like, okay. And also, if you want to get the character person skin for the multiplayer,
Batista.
you need to play it before the 28th of October to get him. I don't know who he is, and I don't care.
He's a ex-WWE wrestler.
I care even less now. Right.
He's the guy who plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I care a bit more now. So yeah, there's nothing much I got to say, but I haven't played Gears 5. I will play her at some point, as I did stream Gears 4. I'm just unsure whether to see if I can get someone to play it with me in co-op or just play her on my own. We'll see. Meh. After that, then they showed bundles. Major Nelson was like, "Hey, look at these bundles, man!" He did not speak like that. And he's like, "Yeah, use the Xbox X and S, both with Forza Horizon 4 and the Lego something DLC." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then they moved on.
Yep.
They mentioned Minecon, which has actually happened now. I think it was the 28th it was due to be on. If anything have come out with that, I don't know. I think maybe there was a beta/beta for Minecraft World or whatever it's called. Pokemon Minecraft Go. That.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What else? They had Tropico 6. What it showed was just like you customizing your character in your house. I thought this was a game in the style of something like Civ or something along those lines. I thought it was like a big RTS kind of game. But it didn't show any gameplay apart from the customizing of your house and your character. But I don't actually know. I think I have a few of the games, but I've never played them. Do you have any experience with Tropico?
Very briefly, probably on the 360. So not a huge amount, no. But again, it's that kind of Sim City. It's kind of basically, think of it as like Sim City, but you're in charge of a nation instead of a city, and you're playing a dictator, so you have a lot of control over like the trade deals you're doing with other nations and stuff like that. So you've got you've got your city management thing where you're building, you having to manage the tax and the buildings and development and all that, but then you've also got to deal with like international relations and make your own laws and stuff, so this is the 6th iteration and they've all been popular, so yeah.
Gino said he likes the look of Outer Worlds, but I've been avoiding any details to try and keep it fresh. Well, I hope I didn't spoil anything for you.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay away from bits. This is the first real large amount of content.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't really said much other than it looks like a Obsidian. It's like Obsidian. Well, we can't make a Fallout game anymore because we don't own it. Let's make a game that we could consider our own. That we would then have in the Fallout franchise, but isn't a Fallout game, and then we'll do our own take on Fallout.
Basically.
That kind of thing, basically, yeah. So, yeah. Next up was Ghost Recon Breakpoint beta talk. It's ended. It ended the other day. Oh, well. It was fun, yeah. I really enjoyed it. I didn't play it. Did you play the beta?
No. I was too busy revealing the gender of my baby. I had to be very careful how I said that then, so...
Yes.
So no, I've been busy organising a party basically. So, but again on Twitter, a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I think there's a fair amount of hype for this game. So
yeah. I think it's because of that John blah, 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 is in it as well. The guy from Punisher and Walking Dead. Oh,
Yeah, that
yeah,
guy.
Doom have cut out again. Oh, he's back again.
Yeah, I'm back.
Fuck is going on tonight?
Discord is not having it.
Fucking stupid Discord. So yeah, I think because he's in it, I think that will yeah, John Berthel.
Berthel, that's it.
I'm saying that right. Because he's in it, I think that is heightening people's interest. But to be fair, with Wildlands, I actually quite enjoyed that, and I wish I'd stuck with it when we were playing co-op with people. The problem is the Division 2 and Wildlands, I didn't actually finish them because I wasn't playing it as consistently as the other people I was playing with. They'd get so far ahead, it just wasn't. It wasn't as fun to then play with everyone who's like really fucking well kitted out and shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was like that. Wildlands was a cool game, and I wish I'd stuck with it. But again, other games kind of just ended up taking over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I assume this is the way they're going with the Ghost Recon games now. So I assume this is how they're going to do it. So
I really enjoyed Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. I played it for fucking. It was one of I probably at that point it was my most played game. I played it online all the time. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 came out, and it was better probably in every single fucking way. And yet I just didn't put as much time into it, and I've never really played the series much since. It's weird, isn't it? So yeah. Hitman 2 is next, with a new expansion, which is set on Haven Island in the Maldives. Maldives. And I was trying to think, where was it again? And it's available. It was available when this thing was shown, which was last Tuesday. It's available for people with the gold pass or whatever the fuck it's called, and the expansion pass.
Yeah.
The gold edition and expansion. Yes. I'm not really into stealth. I've never really played the Hitman games very much. What I've seen of them look really cool. Like, I remember, I think it was Contracts my friend was playing back when I was 17, 16. On the Xbox, I believe it was. And he had this guy with a chain and he was shooting him, and then he like carried on shooting him so much, he dragged him up a wall and up onto the ceiling. I was like, that's fucking cool. I don't know if you could do that in real life, but it looked good. I've never used a chain gun on anyone, so
no.
So yeah, have you got any interest in the Hitman series? Like,
no, again, not really played. No, not really played them, but again, they're popular, and I'm sure this will be popular. So
yeah, the thing is though, I think Hitman is considered one of the best stealth games because of there's a massive variety of ways you can take on your objectives, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's not for me. This game I thought looked cool. Felix the Reaper.
Oh yeah, this looked cool. I don't like they talked again. This game, it looked cool.
Well, hey,
I like the I want to get into it, man. It looked cool. They talked to the developers. The developers, they seemed like quite cool guys. The way that they did their little video and that. But again, there wasn't like they did a lot of talking, but there wasn't a lot of information about the game. They was talking about a lot of character development and all that, but there was not really much said about the game. Do you know what I mean?
From the sound of it, it's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
With like a romantic comedy kind of story to it. And I just think it looked interesting. I would like to play it very much.
Keep an eye out on that one.
I don't know. No, there's a little bit more. There's I thought wasn't sure if this game coming now, which is DLC for Ace Combat 7, was the last thing, but it's not. So yeah, it's adding some new mechanics. I got the game on the PS4. It came with my VR headset. I haven't played it, and I probably won't for a while. Ace Combat 7. I've not really played many games involving planes and guns.
No.
Next up was After Party.
Yep. Looks cool.
Yep. And then I was like, After Party still looks cool. Next. Oh yeah, and this is the last thing that came up. I don't know if anyone here has interest in it, including yourself, Doom. Was DayZ, which I would call DayZ. I got literally no interest in it at all.
No, it's one of those that a few years ago was really, really popular, and if they could have got it on Xbox then I think it would have really taken off. But I think it's just too far gone now. So
yeah, I think this is like an expansion or something, isn't it?
Seems that way. Yeah, it's a new map of some sort. So
well. So that was it with the Xbox stuff, I believe. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah.
No, I think that was it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. We were going to talk a little about some Rob versus Tim.
Yeah.
So if you would like to, I'll briefly talk about the NES version because it's easier to quickly get that over with than talk about the Mega Drive version, which we both played. The NES one I played on my own. So, for those that are unaware, this was a prototype game for the NES that never actually saw release. I played this for about an hour. I'm not going to go really into detail about a lot of the stuff, but basically, for one thing that annoyed me was the music. The music, right? Let me clarify. The music is actually good, right? But there are two tracks. There's a track for the normal levels and a track for the boss level, where it's basically you get to the end level, you shoot the Terminator in the face, make him fall down into something and die. Right. So there's those two tracks, and that is it. Like I said, it's actually good music, but it's fucking grating after a little while. The gameplay is alright. You just get a gun, and then it upgrades to a bigger gun, and then by the point I got to, it upgraded to an even bigger gun, and that was it. It was basically think of what's his name in Robocop? Ed 91.
Ed 209.
209. I think 109. Ed 29. One of his guns, which you get in Robocop vs. Terminator on the Mega Drive as well. It's that.
Yeah.
So you get that to shoot shit with, which is just like faster, a bit more powerful again.
I'm alright in saying with this game, I don't think it was ever fully released, and this is a
prototype,
demo or prototype. Yeah, so that probably explains why there's only two tracks to it then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because of that. The thing is, though, the gameplay is actually alright. It's nothing amazing. People who are watching the stream right now will see some footage of the NES game, and it's actually alright. There are some places which pissed me off, like I think it's here now. It's like you fall down this platform, and I couldn't figure a way to get back up from it, so I had to die. Because of the way platforms were.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Well, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Dead. The thing is, it's actually really good, and like I said with the boss, it's not like you just shoot it till it dies like most traditional games. The first one you shoot the Terminator, it lands on another platform, which is moving, and you've got to shoot it till it falls off that platform, and then you've got to go around then to that platform and shoot in the other direction. He falls into like the vat of acid there and dies, and there's stuff like that throughout.
Yeah.
With them, you do get a certain distance in, and the levels become more maze-like. One level I spent fucking ages on it because I was going through different doors, and I was like, okay, I had to go this way. It was basically a straight path up, and I didn't have to go through any doors at all. That bothered me. But after that, then story spoilers. You get captured. You basically use your fucking fist spike to interact with the computer. What happens is you kind of get like trapped your mind gets trapped into a computer, and then you wake up in the future, reassemble your body, and then you're in the future, and there's fucking Terminators everywhere.
Yeah.
So it actually sounds really cool. The reason why I wanted to play it is because I wanted to kill an evil Robocop and a load of Terminators. I didn't see no evil Robocop, and then. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like, see, there's like these weird machines. That's a bigger gun look there. And there's the other bigger gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the levels. Fuck me, this is the future look where there's Terminators everywhere. But it's actually not a bad looking NES game either. It's just
I was gonna say it looks quite pleasant actually.
Yeah, it's you know, I think that if this was properly released and had a bit more time to get some of the kinks out, this fucking level is the one I'm on about, bastard. Yeah, I think it would have been a lot more interesting than it was. I think it's pretty good for a prototype game. It must have been quite far into development. Well, you can see it must have been quite far into development. It's just a shame that it never got fully released. Yeah. But none of us really want to talk about that because I think I'm the only person here who's probably played it. But you have played Rob versus Tim on the Mega Drive, I believe.
I have indeed, yes. One thing I would say, compared to, like, interestingly, the SNES, the Mega Drive, and the NES version all have different storylines as to why.
Oh?
Taken on. And then the SNES
Hello?
and the Mega Drive are very
Hey,
similar.
you're back! You cut out for about
Hello.
like 20 seconds, man.
Oh, great. Okay, so what did I get up to?
The last thing you said is they all have different storylines.
Yeah, so they all have different storylines, but I think the NES has got the coolest of the storylines.
Yeah, it does sound the best.
Like, that's the one that...
God, really are fucking... I'm gonna start...
It's
Go
having a mare tonight, isn't it?
It is. I think we're gonna have to start using fucking Mumble.
Yeah. Or Skype or something.
Yeah,
oh,
it does sound that way. Like, yeah. So basically, right, you were saying the storylines are very different. Nice.
Try again.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Doom's back.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, Pedz, what were you saying?
I was saying, so basically what the NES storyline is Terminator's come back with an evil Robocop and basically try to take out John Connor and Robocop.
Yeah.
But
which, I'm not being funny, sounds amazing.
It does. See, if you look at this game now, right? Look at the difference, like visually, this is fucking lovely.
It
right?
is a beautiful game.
You look at when you kill someone in this game. I can't believe I played this as a child. It is one of the bloodiest games I've ever played. You shoot someone with a fucking...
flying off.
You shoot someone with a pistol. They fucking explode in a fountain of piss and blood.
Yeah. This game takes no prisoners. Absolutely takes no prisoners. Can I also point out both the NES version and this Mega Drive version are both stunning. Like, for what they are. The NES version is a great looking game. This is like, this could easily pass as an indie game, like a real highly polished 2D indie game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty detailed as well with the sprites. Like is. Robocop is very, you know, you can see his bulge and everything really well.
Yeah,
it's Robo Bulge.
It's Robo Bulge.
I fucking love that gun.
Yeah, it's a great game. Personally, I think this game, it stands the test of time as well.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm not sure what that gun's all about. That gun always really confused me. The one that shoots up and down and.
It's homing missiles, basically.
Homing missiles. Right.
See, the thing is, right, this game I played as a kid and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I played this I played it like a week ago after we discussed doing this the other week. And I played it again Friday. I streamed it Friday, which is why I've got a video of it now. I downloaded the video. But I was thinking to myself when I was playing, I was like, this is a hell of a lot easier than I remember. Then I got to the level where you're in, I think it's the CP building.
Yeah.
The difficulty fucking ramps up. The enemies have got fucking rocket launchers and like 4 hits or something and you're dead. And there's a lot of shit going on. Yeah. It fucking ramps up.
Yeah, they kind of ease you in and then they just slap you so hard. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They absolutely like false sense of security.
Yeah.
It's nuts on this.
Also, with the game is like there is quite a big variety of weapons and like some of them aren't actually introduced until later stages. There's 2 laser weapons. One of them I was like when I played it the other week I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. It kills Terminators in 1 hit. Skin Terminators it kills in 2 hits. Fucking brilliant. And then I was saying on this stream I was like, yeah, this laser gun that you get in this level is really fucking cool. And then I picked up a laser gun. I was like, okay. I started shooting, and it was like this rapid fire, red beamed laser gun. I was like, this is a completely different gun. I didn't see this when I played it last time. What the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So this level now is where you've come across the first Terminator.
That's it. Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this, like for me, I didn't play this as a kid. I think I was just too young. I would have only been about, I don't know when this game came out, but I was probably only no more than 5, maybe 4, something like that when this was out. So I was just too young to play this. So for me, it was a bit of a looking at this game as a bit of a retrospective more than nostalgia, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like an old game. You know, I think it stood the test of time really well, and I think, like I said, visually as well, it's a beautiful game, and it, like for me, if they re-released this like a HD port, I would be very, very happy, and I think it wouldn't be out of place on like the Switch's eShop. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying. The thing is I'm wondering like the people in chat looking at this game, if you've not played before, what are your thoughts on the visuals of it? Because in my opinion, I think it's a really good looking game. I think it was out in like 1990 something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but it's fun to play. And the thing is I do wonder like how much of this is nostalgia, but playing it. But small field of view, lots of arrows. Yeah, Gary's saying about the arrows. Think they calm down later on. I think it's just where there's several ways to go. Because like it's like the level's not just flat.
No.
Point A to B. There's a lot of like verticality in them as well. You know, Spider-Man would be happy in this fucking game.
Yeah. The character sprites are very big, you're right. But I think that's what makes this game different to the rest. The fact that they got their own, like, it's got its own style, and I think the size of the when you got these iconic characters like Robocop and Terminator, you need the characters to be big enough to be able to handle it. Because you want to make out exactly, like, you want to make out the features that makes makes the T1000 the T1000, and what makes Robocop, you know. So So yeah, and like I say, it's that level of detail, isn't it? Even the curtains in the interiors move when someone's inside. And if you notice, if somebody dies and there's a blood in the room, then there's a blood splatter on the curtain. And do you know what I mean? This game, I mean, I'm not sure if it would do particularly well now, just because of, I don't know how relevant Robocop and Terminator are these days. For me, they're incredible.
Yeah. Back in the day, Robocop and Terminator were awesome. I think if this came out now, people would buy it thinking it was a comedy based on the new Terminator films. Oh, you cut out, did I? just assumed you stopped talking.
Oh, to be honest, Pedz, you've been cut out. I thought you'd stop talking. You've been cut out for me for like 2 minutes. I've been talking for 2 minutes straight.
No. Yeah, that's why I thought you'd stopped.
Right.
I literally just started talking, yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
See, look at that. Fucking awesome. Terminator. You can clearly see as a Terminator. You could see it was basically Arnold Schwarzenegger's design. Design? Yeah, because he was designed. Fuck me. It was designed to modeled after him, man, and it looked pretty good for a fucking 16-bit sprite, like.
Yeah. Oh, there's a huge amount of detail in this game. You know, I would argue maybe one of the most detailed games of this kind of generation. Like even the background. Look at the city background there. I know it's not a scrolling background, but it's just that's pixel art. I mean, this game is almost like pixel art. Do you know what I mean? In its form, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you enjoyed this game for nostalgia reasons, or do you think now that you've played it again, are you thinking, no, this is just a good game and it would hold up in today's market if it was released on the eShop as a, I don't know, as a £15 game?
If this come out again for a low price, it was just to say this was a Sega Ages game. I know Sega Ages is specifically Sega, but this is a Mega Drive version. I'm just using. This was a Sega Ages title, which was about £6-7. Like the Sega Ages games, I think this would be well worth picking up.
Yeah.
Like, maybe nostalgia has tinted my view on it. Playing her again, I actually probably enjoyed it more now than I did back as a kid.
Probably understand it a bit more.
Exactly, and it's like when I played through as a kid before, I would just try and get to the end level. But if you actually pay attention very, very much at the start, right at the beginning, it actually says main objective, and it says main objective for this area is take out all the cameras. Main objective in the last area was rescue all the hostages. So it's not just get back to the end of the level. There are actual, there is actually a main objective in there other than getting to the end of the level. To be fair, in the last level where I game overed, and I did, I'm not saying it's the last level. I'm saying the last level I got to. The main objective was just survive. I did not. I failed my main objective. No, it's not really GoldenEye, because GoldenEye, if you up the difficulty, it gives you more objectives. I guess you could say it's kind of like, you know, this just has one objective per level, though they can vary. There are several, but most are hostage related, which is good because in the hostage levels, you get health back. So if you're low on health and you know it's a hostage, try and get them dying, and you'll get full health.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize until I was through one of the last levels where I had them. Honestly, this game, if you are a fan of retro games and good run and gun games, this is definitely worth picking up. 1 sec, my phone is ringing.
There's a pretty funky tune we had going on there as well. Yeah. So, for people in chat, what is your experience with this game? Have you played it before? If you haven't, after talking about it, has it in, like, would you go and play it now if you could, or where do we stand on this? I think me and Pedz are obviously still impressed with this game. I've come at this from a non-nostalgic point of view, and I was impressed with the game and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So where do we stand in the chat?
Hey, I'm back.
Hello.
One thing we haven't mentioned is music stuff. Good music in this game. I think the first 2 levels. Ubelian says he's impressed, but it's not his cup of tea.
That's fair enough.
And Januel is mesmerized by Robocop's dancing bullets.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. The sound effects for the guns are fucking awesome. They've really fucking like. Every aspect of this game to me is well done. If you don't like it, fair enough. If it's not your cup of tea, fair enough. But it is, like well done. The game is designed. The designs of the levels for me, I think, is actually rather fucking good. It's nice to have an objective other than get to the end of the level. So again, that's something good. The bosses are fun to kill. Because I killed a lot of bosses.
I forgot about this boss, the one from Robocop 2.
Well, he's dead soon. I think I collect the thing that makes you invincible. So yeah, in general, this game is really good. And like musically, it's very good. I think the first 2 levels have the exact same music. And it's like decent music, but every so often you have a woman's voice going, Terminator. And that gets irritating. Other than that, I love the tracks, like. But it gets fucking hard. The game gets very hard. As you can see, I'm gaining lives. By the next, I think it's the next level, I have to use a continue because I get fucked over. And the problem is when you die, I'm not sure if you start back at the beginning of the level or if you carry on from where you are. I think you carry on from where you are. Yeah, you definitely do. When you get a continue, or even when you die, you lose your weapons.
Yeah.
So
back to your basic ones.
Yeah, so then it becomes a struggle when you lose your stuff. When you go back to the beginning of a level that actually starts off with a guy with a fucking rocket in your face, not literally, the first guy you come across has got a rocket. It is a challenge because you're using your pistol, which is a pretty decent fire rate, but in comparison to this weapon that I'm using now, or the dancing grenades, it's relatively weak.
Yeah. I say coming back onto the sound as well, especially like
death
Robocop's,
sounds.
Yeah, like Robocop's handgun has got a very iconic sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think they've done it quite well in this game. You know, that sound, that reproduction of the sound is quite authentic, I find. It sounded like the gun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you did cut out for a bit there, but I get it. Just it's a good recreation in MIDI form.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to go back to a game. Like my worry is a lot of the time going back to a game. Usually, I'm not. If I go back to a game, it's not like, oh yeah. It's a lot of the time it can be like, yeah, it's not as good as I remember. Some games I'm like, yes, it's as good. Some like Metroid Fusion, I actually preferred it on my second playthrough a couple of years back compared to when I played it when it first came out. But I think this game will hold up for people who play it now. As long as they don't mind things being a bit difficult, I think that they would be... well, people don't, because they fucking cite Dark Souls as the best game ever because it's hard. And before people say, no, it's the fucking design... Fair enough, it might be for a lot of people, but when Demon's Souls and Dark Souls came out, people didn't say about the game design and all that shit. All people banged on about was how it's like old school games being so fucking hard. And they fucking did. And if people want to go back now and say, no one said that, then they're either fucking lying to themselves and me, or they just don't remember it. Because they did. That was the fucking big thing. It was how difficult those games were. Simple.
Yeah.
So I think this game for people who like hard games would be fine. Though you do run out of continues and you will have to go back to the beginning of the level. The game if you lose your continuos, which I think you get 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
So
I think you actually got further than me as well. I ended up dying before. I can't remember where I died exactly, but yeah, it's
the level that I liked, not this level. That's the first guy you come across. Fucking rockets. Then you fight boss. That's the boss from Robocop 1. And if you shoot him right there, his gun drops off him, and you can then use the gun. So that's something you want to keep in mind, guys. Dark Souls light. So yeah, unfortunately, he shoots rockets at you then 'cause it's a knob. But so you get that gun, which is really fucking handy against him as his legs attack you. And then in this level, that's the red laser gun. I never found the first playthrough.
Kind of it makes short work of him, doesn't it? To be fair, that gun. But
the gun that I really liked, not the spreader, was where are you, fucker? This gun. Let's see if I can shoot something. Boom, dead. Kills in one shot. Dead. Fucking loved it. OP as fuck. Look at it. Look at dead. How you doing, mate? Dead. Perfect. But yeah,
I like the fact that there's no bullet limit either. Once you pick a gun up, you can spam it and you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that is annoying is run out of fucking stuff. Like in a lot of older games, like say like don't get me wrong, I love Contra, but in Contra it would. Am I thinking of, no, not Contra. What am I thinking of? Metal Slug. There would be a certain amount of ammo to your guns. I know why. Yeah. They wanted your fucking money when you were sticking in a slot machine.
Yeah, exactly. they designed it that way. I say General said, love the bit in the movie where Ed 209 absolutely massacres the guy in the boardroom. Blood everywhere. Yeah, the bit when they're doing the test, isn't it? And he points the handgun at him. He's like, you have 10 seconds to comply. And then he just counts down, just blows the guy away. Yeah. I love the fact that after this guy gets absolutely blown away, blood everywhere, they kind of just reconvene the meeting. It's like, what? It's mad.
It didn't work out to kill this enemy. Yeah, so anyway, before we move on to other things, which would be Doom and General talking about the movie, I was going to say, final thoughts. Would you recommend? Would you say it still holds up?
Right, so yes, I would recommend. Yes, I think it holds up. And yes, please port it to the eShop.
There you go.
What about you, Pedz?
Honestly, like obviously I don't care if it gets re-released. I'd still play it anyway, but because I've got it on my Mega Drive in the attic that I put back up there after playing this. Yeah. Anyway, basically, the game is for me. I think is actually I'm more fond of it now after replaying it than just going by memory because it's actually turned out to be a lot. Like I didn't realize how good the level design was, the weapon variety, the music, a lot of that stuff. Like I enjoyed those things, but I just didn't realize how well they were done back when I was a kid. So I think playing it now, I actually prefer it to then. So honestly, yeah, I think it stands up and is a game I would gladly recommend to someone who said, "Can you think of a good old game?" Good old shooty game that I might like. I will say Rob versus Tim. And they'll look at me really fucking confused. I'll say, sorry, Robocop versus Terminator. I just been called it Rob versus Tim.
Matt says, what do you think of the new Contra? I haven't played it. So I can't really comment. Funny enough, I was looking at it earlier on today. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. But I haven't personally played it. What about you, Pedz? Have you played it?
I haven't played it.
Oh, well,
I'm not even going to talk about it.
Didn't get me.
Nope. Not getting involved.
Right. Right. So I think we've covered this game pretty well, and it's a resounding yes, we recommend it. Yes, it holds up, and it looks great. So now we've got to decide the next game.
The question is, do we play a game only one of us have played, or a game that both of us have played, or is someone in chat going to pick a game, but then they will have to appear in 2 weeks' time to to have also played that game? I think Doom have cut out again. For fucking
yeah, probably. Oh.
Hello.
Hello. So you've probably played a hell of a lot more retro titles than me, but just because of like doing the retro Mondays and that. So it's going to be a lot harder for me to find a game that you haven't played, where it'll be a lot easier for you to do it the other way.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking we could. We obviously need to make a decision on what we're going to do. We can either do one game that I've played that you haven't, or vice versa, or someone from chat could pick a game they've played that we may or may not have played. But then in 2 weeks' time, they'll have to make sure they join the chat live on the podcast. Also talk about their experience playing it over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Only fair. Only fair. So yeah, I reckon Genuel should pick a game and come back in 2 weeks to talk about it, because I know Genuel's a big retro fan.
Yeah.
And if not, then I don't know.
Oh, Matt says there's this game called Dark Souls. What's the can you ban people off the page, Pedz?
I can, yes. No, Dark Souls does not count as retro. Then again, it plays like a fucking old, like, pretty much like Bubsy 3D with a sword. So...
throwing shit.
See, this is the level that says, just survive. Look at it.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
I didn't ask for bullet hell with my Terminator.
Yeah. Terminator Bullet Hell. That's a game that needs to be made, I think.
I tried to just run through it in the end, and I didn't even get very far before dying.
Matt says Kirby Dream Course. You know what? I haven't played it, and I know it's on the SNES app, so I'd be up for that.
I'd be up for it. To be honest.
Yeah.
The problem is Matt going to be willing to come back in 2 weeks, having literally finished it the other day, talk about it. And it's a game I've never played apart from like 2 minutes the other day.
Yeah.
But it means he has to be here for the full podcast. Like
for the full podcast.
I think it's nice having Matt on.
Yeah. I miss having Matt on.
So yeah, I have no problem playing Kirby Dream Course. It's easily accessible, and I'll happily play it. So yeah, that could be the game in 2 weeks' time then.
Okay, I'll get on it. That's a game that I haven't played at all. And like I say, it's nice and accessible with the SNES app. So, and if Matt's available, he said he'll join us. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So, I think, have we covered everything? I think we have.
Yeah, that is pretty much us done with the podcast. Yes. Nope, can't think of anything else. I did enjoy it myself, though. It was fun.
Hello.
Yo.
There we go. Yeah, Discord is playing absolute hell with us. Seriously, I think we're gonna have to consider maybe trying Skype or something else, because this is like a joke.
Yeah.
Constantly cutting out of that. So I guess we can only apologise for the technical difficulties. They are out. Exactly, you are correct. Yes, so I see Pedz doing something. We can spy on what he's doing now.
You know, look, I just got Blender, which I was going to try and learn to do 3D stuff. This is called Resolve. It's what I use for video editing. It's DaVinci Resolve. They were eyes I found on the internet to make jazz ham. Which sings up here under my head. RetroArch, Launchbox, GRcade 2, Food, Crap Inkscape, Opera, which I only use for when my stream is live, because with Firefox got over 100 tabs, and it just fucking uses loads of RAM. Yeah, nothing much there, to be honest. Live Split for speed runs. Well, I don't actually speed run, but you know.
Yeah.
Nothing of interest, guys. There's no porn folder, look.
That's a shame. I think that's what we were all hoping for. We were hoping your desktop background actually was going to be some kind of crazy porn screenshot. So, I think I speak for us all when I say we're disappointed, Pedz.
Yeah, that folder is separate, is a Kindle folder. I got stuff from Humble Bundle. It was literally there so I could transfer stuff to my Kindle, and I haven't done it yet, which is why the folder is still there. I was going to then delete it. It's got like loads of books, loads of books, loads of novels that were on there, loads of cookbooks that were on there, and a load of comics. I think there was the boys' comics. Which I'd started reading ages ago on. I think it was like comic something, or it was Amazon.
Comixology.
Was it the Comixology was on, or it was Amazon books something?
Yeah.
And then I think it was a load of Halloween stuff, which the only thing I remember being in there was the Something Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was the comic that the new show is based on. The more dark kind of thing. Yeah, but the comic's meant to be quite fucked up compared to the show. Anyway, I think we're going to end it here with the podcast. So that means I can stop recording for a start. And it also means that we can... do you still want to play any Rocket League?
I am probably going to hit the hay. I'm getting quite tired now.
Right,
and this Discord is frustrating me a bit, so I need to go and have 5. Yes.
5, yeah. 5.
An ankle wank. That's exactly what I need to go do.
Okay then, Doom's gonna go play with his wiener, and I'm gonna end the stream then. Thank you all for tuning in. But before we do go, is there anything you would like to ask us, either about Rob versus Tim, or about anything else other than Doom's penis length? Because I've already asked him that when we was interviewing him that episode many moons ago.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
I haven't done that with anyone else. I'd like to do it with more people. Just ask a few questions like about some of the gaming history and the penis length and various other things.
That's standard questions.
Well, the very first question was, how big is your penis? And then I said, I'm only joking. And then I asked you a serious question. See, I like music. I don't like that fucking thing. If I were to open the vault to your wank bank.
Where's this going?
What should I wear as protection?
Nothing. You just go in.
Yeah, you just
bollocks to the wind. Just go in. Just nuts first. You could just dive in balls deep. There is no such thing as protection in the wank bank.
Yeah, the protection is don't open the wank bank.
Yeah.
First rule of the wank bank is don't open the wank bank.
Don't.
The second rule is no smoking.
Yeah.
That's a space rep. I've spaced.
Dear me.
So we are going to end the stream, guys.
Yes, we. I guess we can only apologize for the annoyance in the constant cutting out. Maybe me and Pedz will have a chat about moving.
He's gone
Things
again.
for the next one.
Oh, he's
There
back.
you go.
Back.
And I'm back. Again, we apologise for that. I think me and Pedz are going to have a chat about maybe trying Skype or something else because this is inconsistent. So,
Yeah.
apologies.
I don't know how you use Skype anymore. Like every time I go on it's all about putting my mobile number in there, and it costs money. I don't know what the fuck that's about. When I used it years ago, I don't even remember any of that stuff being there. Last time I used it, Skype was probably when I was 20, so like 14 years ago. Oh yeah. Anyway, me and Doom will discuss it. Also, we'll have to let people know on GRcade because as it's a GRcade podcast, not our podcast, other people will have to know what they will need to partake.
Yes.
We could try Mumble, which was what we used to use for the podcast and just general online gaming PC stuff back on on GRcade and Games Radar back in the day, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could always look at Mumble. I've still got it installed and I'm still on the server for GRcade, I think.
Okay. Well, it wouldn't take much. It wouldn't take much for me to download it. So
no. Yeah, thank you.
So,
thank you for the compliments.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That's appreciated. And I apologize for being grumpy at the beginning. I wasn't grumpy. It was just I was just honest. I was just completely honest.
Honestly, right? If you had a PlayStation 4, do you think your interest would have been more piqued by anything shown? Because you had the console, do you think you would have been more interested in general? Or is it not that you like, fuck it, I am going to PlayStation, fuck the games. It's more because you haven't got the console, you're less invested in what they're going to show in comparison to what they would show at the Nintendo Direct or Xbox event, simply because you have those consoles, you don't have a PlayStation 4. Do you think it would have made a difference to what was shown?
Not really, because I can admit if a game excites me or not. At the end of the day, like Spider-Man, that's a game that I was like, oh, I really like. I wouldn't mind owning a PlayStation to play that game. God of War is kind of the same. There's a few games like that, but nothing that was shown at that state of play really piqued my interest, and it had nothing to do with the fact I didn't have the console. Because, like I said, when games in the past have been announced and shown, I've been like somewhat jealous the fact that I cannot play them. There was nothing that was super interesting. I just found it was very flat, very boring, and just the games that they were showing, none of them really appealed to me, apart from that one that, as I had that bit of rant over the fact that they didn't show enough of it to know what it was. So no, for me, I don't think it comes down to the fact that I don't have a PlayStation. It's the fact that I watched it and nothing interested me. Like everything, all the games, just even if they were Xbox games, that wouldn't have made a difference. It would not have made a blind bit of difference. So I'll happily admit if a game interests me and I haven't got the console. So.
No, I was just wondering if it would make you more invested in it at all, but if not, fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be us then. Don't forget to check out grcade.co.uk. This is what we this is see the background in the video? That's the forum. Yeah, that's how I have it set out. I think other people have it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it in the day. I have it like that. In the night, I have it dark theme. Earfolds made actually. So yeah, which I don't know how many people listening to this Twitchcast will know who Earfolds is, because he hasn't appeared on So yeah, that's gonna be us then. I don't know if there's anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add, do?
Nope. I think we can end it here.
Good night, guys.
Good night.